This is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show tonight at the white carpet screening of Ted Demi's 2001 film Blow to celebrate the 76th birthday of the film's subject, George Jung, and the film's director, the late Ted Demi, with the man himself, Boston George. Blairing Out with Eric Blair show. Happy 76th birthday, George.
Thank you.
Did you think you would make it to 76?
No. I lived a pretty vicarious existence, and, I didn't think I'd make it to 76. In fact, a really sad thing was Ted Demi, who did the movie Blow, when we were making it, he said, I just pray that you get out alive. And here I am, Ted. I made it for you guys.
What compelled Ted to want to make the movie Blow?
Well, actually, Dennis Leary, I don't know if you're familiar with Dennis Leary, he was making a movie called One by Sea in Canada, and Bruce Porter and I had written a book called Blow, and Dennis didn't even know it existed, and he was in a bookstore during shooting, and he saw the book, and he wanted to play me, and he came to me with Ted Demi, who was like his best buddy in the world, and they said, we want to make a movie. And, I had since Noriega had stolen all my money, I was in jail, and I needed money. And, it wasn't the fact that, wow, they're going to make a movie, it was just that, give me the money, honey. And I thought it would just be a small movie and go away. Well, unbelievable, right?
When you found out that Johnny Depp was cast as you in the film?
I don't know who's going to believe this, but when he told me, I got Johnny Depp, and I said, who the hell is that? And he said, what are you talking about? Because I never watched TV, except for Sunday football games. And he said, 21 Jump Street. And I said, what was that? And he said, undercover cop in a high school trying to bust kids. And I said, I don't know, is there anything else he did? And he said, Edward Scissorhands. And I said, what the hell was that? And he said, it was about an effeminate guy who cut hair with electric hands. And I said, he can't be in the movie. And he said, just meet him. So I agreed to meet him, and he came to see me, and he looked like he'd been sleeping in a dumpster. Yeah, and I said, what the hell happened to you? He said, I was up all night in Greenwich Village trying to think about what to bring you. And I said, what is it? And he said, my Bible, I carry it with me everywhere I go. And he handed it to me, and it was On the Road by Jack Kerouac. And my freshman year in college, I read that book, and I went on the road. And I said, John, I think we're going to be okay.
So that was what endeared you to Johnny Depp?
What endeared me was that he was really exactly like I was, in so many aspects. And he was an existentialist. And, my whole religion is based on total free will. Because, sometimes I can take you to hell in a handbasket, but we were able to relate to each other. And I told him something, and I said, 1 is the number and 2 is the 1. And he said, I think I know what you mean. I said, okay, John.
What do you think your fans admire about you most?
Throughout history, they made movies and books about enshrines to outlaws, and they also hung them too. But what happens? People like to just imagine that for a brief second, that being that free and doing whatever you want whenever you want to do it. But they don't want to do it their whole life. They're too smart for that. But that's what endears people. That the guy that works 40 hours a week and comes home every day, and cuts the lawn and this and that. He likes to someday have a beer and imagine he was maybe Jesse James or Boston George, but only for a brief second in time.
Do you think that the movie Blow glamorizes drug smuggling?
No, because it has more in that. The movie really makes a statement about the highs and lows of that whole industry and career. And I made a lot of money, and I had a lot of wild times and good times, but I also had a lot of bad times. And they didn't put all the bad times in the movie. You know, they never tell you how many times you get thrown off the horse, and how many times you were scared to death, but what it is that, you know, I crossed over a line from marijuana into cocaine, and my father didn't mind the marijuana thing because it was in the 60s with all my high school buddies who were in college, and we were like a fraternity selling it to each other and marketing it. And he thought I'd just grow up and end it and go on my way. And he said to me one day in the cocaine business, he said, "I've lost you." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "You're not afraid anymore." And he was right. And when you're not afraid anymore, you're in trouble.
How did you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually survive 20 years in jail?
You know, that's a question asked a lot. I have a lot of people that have been in jail for long periods of time, and you don't really ever get over it spiritually or emotionally. You know, you're locked up in a cage for 20 years, and I don't blame anybody. It was my own fault, and it was part of your soul out. But there's an old saying, you just do it one day at a time. And then one day they let you out, and all of a sudden there aren't any more payphones, and everybody's talking on cell phones. And in fact, when I got out, this guy who was an outlaw one time was kind of paranoid about crossing the street. Yeah, but I get over that.
George, talk about how you bonded with your current wife, Rhonda, through the exchange of personal letters during your time in prison.
It was either read the erotic letters or masturbate, one or the other.
How did you know she was the one?
Well, we wrote for a long time, for years.
And what do you love about her?
She's got a wonderful heart, and, you know, I've been with the Viper Queens, and Rhonda didn't want anything but somebody to love her. And I felt that, being a son of a bitch my whole life, I could at least do that.
All right, George, congratulations, happy birthday, enjoy the film.
Thank you.
The Blairing Out Show.